Many are calling this the crypto election, and for very good reason. The crypto industry has collectively plowed $170 million in donations this cycle alone, making it one of the most financially consequential issues of the campaign. Why? And where are these digital assets heading in 2025 and beyond? Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Grewal joining us now. Paul, great to see you, sir. So why is so much money pouring into this election from the crypto industry?
Well, I think less interesting than the dollar amounts are what those dollars represent, Dave. 52 million Americans have now bought or sold a digital asset, and they've made it very clear over the last several months that they want to see crypto in their future, and they expect their elected officials to take reasonable steps to protect crypto investors while at the same time promoting innovation. So I think what we're seeing is a reflection of that energy and enthusiasm, and Coinbase and the industry, I think, are stepping up to the plate in order to give voice to those concerns.
Is all that money pouring into one party over another?
I think what you're seeing is that the crypto industry is supporting causes and candidates across the political aisle. And I think that reflects the fact that crypto has to date been a largely nonpartisan issue. Legislation that's moved its way through the House and is currently under consideration in the Senate reflects support from both Democrats and Republicans. And I think that's what the 52 million Americans who have owned a digital asset want. They want to see this issue remain nonpartisan. They want to see Democrats and Republicans step up and pass sensible rules on market structure and stable coins and so forth in order to make sure that crypto is treated fairly under the law and this innovation can continue to thrive here in the United States.
So you just talked, Paul, about some of the things the industry wants and needs. What do we have right now?
Well, what we have right now is a situation where the main regulator at the federal level, the Securities and Exchange Commission, has invited crypto firms to come in and register, and yet they've provided absolutely, positively no effective way for firms to do that. And at the same time, because the Congress has failed to act, the SEC has embarked upon a campaign of regulation by enforcement, relying upon lawsuits and litigation in order to establish its authority over the crypto industry, rather than rulemaking and legislation that we think would not only be more durable, more sensible, but also clearer and fairer and more protective of investors. So that's why I think you're seeing such a groundswell of support for candidates who want to take on a different course. And we think that will continue past the election tomorrow and into the new year and the new term.
Paul, do you sense that our elected officials and the regulators as well are anti-crypto, or they just failed to understand the industry?
Well, I think for some, it's a lack of understanding. It's a lack of education. That's one of the reasons why Coinbase and others in the industry have invested so much time and effort and resources in educating our policymakers on what this technology is, the sensible rules that we think will promote innovation in crypto and digital assets while, again, protecting investors. And at the same time, articulating very specific rules for market structure, the respective authority of regulators like the SEC and the Commodity Futures Trading Commission to regulate in this area, and stable coins, perhaps the most important and explosive use case to emerge out of crypto to date. There are concrete proposals on the table that we think could advance the interests of investors and the industry alike, but Congress needs to act. And so we've really focused our energy in making sure that they have the understanding and the tools available to fulfill their voters' preferences.
On the surface, one would say the biggest of them all, Bitcoin, up 53% year to date, far outpacing the S&P. Don't you like the conditions under which that type of growth can happen?
Well, I think what we've seen over the last 3.5 years, as the SEC in particular has embarked upon this campaign of suing rather than rulemaking, is that cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, have survived, have indeed thrived in spite of the hostility from Washington, not because of any efforts on the part of our policymakers to provide clarity and certainty that would certainly promote that development. I think once rules come into play, once we see laws passed that define how to apply longstanding principles in federal securities laws and other areas of law to this new emerging technology, you're going to see even greater growth, even greater innovation, and even more interest and development of this important technology.
So the two candidates right now, we've got President Trump, a total 180 from calling crypto a scam a few years ago to suggesting the U.S. become the crypto capital of the planet. What do you make of his 180? And what is, to you, Kamala Harris's stance on digital currencies? Sometimes it's difficult to figure out.
Well, I think both presidential candidates and presidential campaigns have really come a great distance from where they may have been just a short while ago. It is absolutely the case that former President Trump has embraced crypto, has made it very clear, both in the Republican National Convention platform and in many statements he has given, both privately and publicly, that he wants to see crypto in the United States' financial future, and he's prepared to take very specific and decisive action to promote crypto here in the United States and as a bulwark against national security and other concerns globally. For her part, Vice President Harris has been more measured in providing support for a different approach to crypto regulation. And yet she too has explicitly acknowledged the need to promote this important innovation, and at the same time recognizes that important constituencies that are supporting her campaign want to see crypto protected, want to see crypto regulated in a sensible way, and expect her new administration to do that. So regardless of who wins in this election that's coming up in just a few short hours to its conclusion, we think crypto will win, because both campaigns are clearly reflecting the will of those 52 million Americans that we've spoken about who have owned a digital asset and are going to give voice to their concerns.
But yet your company, at least according to reports, has given $75 million to Fair Shake and its affiliated PAC. So what does return on your investment look like?
Well, Coinbase has supported the efforts of Fair Shake, as well as Stand with Crypto, which is a separate organization focused on engaging voters in the political process. Our goals are very simple. We want to see clarity. We want to see certainty brought to this market that is long overdue. And while there will always be differences of opinion on one particular element or aspect of legislation or regulation or another, the fact that we are now talking about what legislation and regulation will look like, as opposed to having to make the case even for there to be such legislation or regulation, I think is real progress. And that's really how we measure success here. Are we making progress in moving towards durable legislation and regulation that will provide clarity and certainty for the market? I think we're going to see that.
Just want to get your quick thoughts on a Pew Research study, Paul. They say 63% of the American public are, quote, not confident the reliability nor the safety of cryptocurrency. What would you say to those skeptics?
Well, I think cryptocurrency, like any new emerging asset class and technology, needs to earn the confidence of the investing and consuming public. And we think we're well on our way to doing that. The fact of the matter is that many crypto firms are now regulated at the state and federal level. Coinbase, for its part, was one of the very first cryptocurrency firms to secure a New York BIT license, which is an important piece of state oversight. And even as we are engaged in litigation with the SEC, we have two registered broker-dealers with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We're also regulated by the Department of Treasury and FinCEN as a money services business. And we have money transmission licenses across the United States in something like 45 or 46 of the 50 states. And so regulation is critical to providing consumers and investors with the confidence that they need in order to engage with this new emerging asset class and technology. Coinbase has pursued that. We think others have done the same. And over time, what you will see is, as Congress does its job and as regulators pass rules that promote that confidence, you're going to see the numbers reflected in polls and other data also grow and grow and grow. We're confident in that.
Interesting. And finally, Pew also found a massive gender gap, almost exactly like we see in this election. Young men making up a majority of investors in crypto. Why is that? How do you change it?
Well, I think that whomever first was attracted to this new emerging technology, the more recent demographics surrounding crypto would surprise a lot of people. For example, roughly half of cryptocurrency owners now in the United States come from communities of color and other represented communities. Something like 20% of crypto owners are women with children at home. This is not the typical picture that is often portrayed of the cryptocurrency owner and investor. And yet this is the reality, because Americans of all types, of all stripes, from all communities want to have alternatives to the current financial system. And when so many Americans are excluded from basic elements of our financial system, like credit, like the opportunity for long-term growth and appreciation, to banking services, it's not surprising that when crypto can offer alternative ways of engaging with the financial system, that communities that have historically been excluded would be drawn to it. I think the data reflects that.
Very interesting conversation. Enjoyed it very much. Coinbase Chief Legal Officer Paul Graywall. Thanks so much, sir.
Thank you.